Here's a sample of those they interviewed in 4 different cities.
زندگی در ایران برای ما ایرانی‌ها خب یک چیزی رو که اگر تشبیه بکنم به جهنم خیلی آمیانه رو بگم جهنمی که سیستم حکومتی دیکتاتور برای مردم
ما هست که کاملا تمام شده به خاطر این انقلاب، چون الان مردم دیدن که بعد از اعتصاب تعداد زیادی اعدام شکنجه و زندانی شدن. در نتیجه واقعا یک دولت توی دل مردم افتاده.
Those our team spoke to don't want war.
الان میخواد این مملکت و همه‌شو برای حماس و برای
Independent assessments put it at half that. The group is led by Lebanese Shia cleric Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah. Today, he's addressing the faith, a measure of the deep ties between Hezbollah and Iran.
To the Western world, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah is the leader of a terrorist organization. But here in Iran, he's revered as the Lebanon-based leader of Iran's so-called Axis of Resistance against Israel.
Iran has long been using the axis of resistance to manage its threat perceptions and to achieve what is known as the US or Israel close to its borders. So by supporting the axis of resistance, Iran pushes its threats closer to its enemies' borders. So this is the first time we're seeing this network, coordinate, operate, militarily engage, sequence actions. And so this is a unique moment, but also to understand their capabilities. And their ability to invoke havoc.
Do you think we're on the brink of a major new war in the Middle East?
I don't know. Carry out a major attack on Lebanon, then all bets are off, and we will have a regional conflict. Israel has failed in Gaza after 9 months, chance in the world, and Iran will definitely support Hezbollah, just as Iran supports Hamas and its allies in Gaza. Iran supports them now. They will continue to support them with whatever they need to defend themselves, and Iran will do the same for
Support from Iran be? Would that be in supplying more weapons? How would they support Hezbollah?
by any means necessary. Whatever they need to protect their country, giving them the tools that they need, and they are fully prepared to defeat the Israeli regime.
We head west to Lebanon, entering Hezbollah's its axis of resistance extends through the Shia Muslim world to Lebanon. Hezbollah control political and military force in the country, and they dominate South Beirut.
To see why this southern suburb Dahir is often referred to as Little Tehran. He's a poster of Iran's supreme leader. And up here is a portrait of General Soleimani, the commander of the Iranian Revolution, global headquarters of Hezbollah, the party of God.
Friday prayers in Dahia, where the party of God comes to worship. Today, there are fewer men of fighting age. More than 300 have already been killed in clashes with Israel on the southern border. The imam here is Hezbollah royalty, son of the group's spiritual founder. He praises Iran for supporting the Palestinian cause. Hezbollah has already fought 2 wars against Israel. In 2000, Hezbollah succeeded in removing Israel's occupying army from southern Lebanon. This dramatically boosted their popularity as a national resistance movement. We cross the mountains into the notorious Bekaa Valley, another Hezbollah stronghold along the frontier with Syria.
We're deep in Hezbollah territory here in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. Israeli drone attacks here are increasing as Israel tries to kill Hezbollah commanders. Just in the last 4 days, 2 senior Hezbollah operatives have been killed, or as Israel would say, eliminated. One was killed just over there in Baalbek. He was a major procurer of weapons from Iran. The other was a former bodyguard of Hezbollah chief, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah.
Branded a terrorist organisation in the West, Hezbollah provides social security, education and healthcare, and has 13 MPs in the national parliament. Militarily, Hezbollah is much more powerful than Lebanon's national army. In the far north of the Bekaa Valley, just kilometres from the Syrian border, a Hezbollah politician has agreed to meet us.
حزب الله هو الآن أمة، وهو نموذج للعالم الإسلامي والعالم العربي. قدرة حزب الله ليس فقط فيما يملك من سلاح، لأنه إلى الآن مع الدعم الإيراني وغير الإيراني الإسرائيلي يتفوق علينا بالسلاح. فكيف تفسر انتصاراتنا على هذا الكيان والرعب الذي يعيشه؟ لا نعتبر أن للدعم بالمعنى المالي والسلاح لا نعتبره هو الذي يشكل قوة حزب الله. قوة حزب الله هي في الروح.
For many Western countries, that Hezbollah flag behind you is the flag of a terrorist organisation. What do you say to that?
كيف على من اعتدينا، من آذينا من كل دول العالم وشعوب العالم؟ أين اعتدى حزب الله على أحد ومتى؟ نحن نمتلك قيما عالية. هناك نوع من الشيطنة والتشويه لحزب الله.
In reality, Hezbollah has been held responsible for numerous terrorist attacks, often targeting civilians in many countries.
Do you ever think that Israel would like to kill you?
هذا العدو في لحظة ما لا يفرق بين أحد وأحد، طبيعته أن يعتدي.
Locals told us there are secret training camps, missile silos and drone runways in these mountains. Recent footage from Hezbollah surveillance drones has caused great alarm in Israel. Here, one flies over an Israeli naval base, undetected by the nation's Iron Dome defence system. The drone passes over sensitive military areas.
الإسرائيلي يعلم يقينا أنه من يستطيع أن يصور قبة الحديدية يستطيع أن يستهدفها، ومن استطاع أن يصور عن بعد أمتار الميناء يستطيع أن يستهدفه، ومن استطاع أن يصور خزانات الوقود والنفط والكيميائيات يستطيع أن يستهدفها. الموضوع ليس فيما يمتلك من سلاح. نحن نرى أننا أصحاب حق.
Hezbollah's arsenal is conservatively estimated at 120,000 missiles. The group boasts that all of Israel's major cities are now in striking distance.
Are you saying that your missiles can hit every part of Israel?
لا يوجد متر من أرض فلسطين المحتلة إلا ونحن نمتلك القدرة على أن تصل إليها يدنا وصواريخنا، ليس على سبيل العشوائية إنما أيضا في أهداف نقطية.
And Ehab Hamadeh warns Benjamin Netanyahu against opening a new front with Hezbollah.
أعتقد أنه من الحماقة ومن الغباء أن يفكر في توسعة الحرب وهو يعلم تماما أن قدرة المقاومة في لبنان هي قدرة مذهلة وما رآه منها العدو هو النذر القليل. صدقني الإسرائيلي لا يقدر 20% من قدرتنا على المواجهة. كل صهيوني الآن أصبح على ثقة بأنه في خطر وجودي.
Some people have said to us that Hezbollah is completely owned and controlled by Iran.
يعني هذا حقيقة مضحك، وعلى الإنسان العاقل أن يتأمل قليلا. حزب الله له علاقة مع إيران صحيح، ولكن ليس كل شيء.
Who would give the go-ahead for any war with Israel? Would it be Hezbollah or would it be Iran?
القرار لبناني، وفي تاريخ صراعنا مع العدو لم يكن القرار غير لبناني.
Now, the question of how much and whether Iran actually calls the shots with all of its proxies around the region, whether they're proxies or partners, is in some dispute. I would put it this way. They are proxies when they need to be, i.e., when Iran orders Hezbollah to do something, Hezbollah will not say no.
Driving through these Hezbollah areas in the Bekaa Valley, it almost feels like we're back in Iran. The roadsides and roundabouts around here are just lined with images of Iran's supreme leader and Hezbollah's chief. 4 Shia Muslim families dominate this valley. The patriarch of one, a Bekaa warlord steeped in Lebanon's violent recent history, has invited us to his family home.
هاي المنطقة اللي شايفها كلها الإيرانية أسسوا حزب الله هون، استقطبوا العالم كلها بسرعة البرق.
Unlike virtually everyone else in this village, he and his family are not Hezbollah. But his status in Bekaa makes him untouchable. That's your brother and that's you.
Yes. هو كان المسؤول العسكري لحركة أمل.
And Nabi Berri.
yeah.
Haj Mohammed Hamir was a senior commander with Amal, a Shia militia which predated Hezbollah. His late brother had an extraordinary life. He was a notorious hijacker.
عائل خطف 6 طيارات مش طيارة واحدة. بيناتهم
TWA, famous hijacking. Prior to that, his brother had been Ayatollah Khomeini's personal bodyguard. So this is your brother arriving in Iran.
Yes.
with Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yes.
It's extraordinary.
هذه الرحلة الأولى من الخميني من بيروت على طهران.
This is the very beginning of the Islamic Republic of Iran we're looking at in that photo.
Yeah.
At what point did Iran become more influential here in Lebanon?
إيران ما كانش لها دور عندنا بالمرة. فترة 79 و80 اجوا الإيرانية على بعلبك وعملوا المعسكرات صار بالقرى وكان في ترحيب فيهم. على اساس هودي سواد مبدأ الثورة فتحت لهم طريق قدام شيعة لبنان.
Haj Mohammed says Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader, is a puppet of Iran.
يتبنوه تبني كامل لحسن نصر الله وله الدعم الكامل من إيران. حزب الله بتعرف انت حزب الله مع إيران يعني قوات حزب الله جزء من القوات الإيرانية. أوامرها من إيران وسلاحها من إيران ومصفيتها من إيران.
Some people say that Hezbollah is in effect an army of Iran on the border with Israel. What do you say to that assessment?
مظبوط 100%.
Would Hezbollah only go to war with Israel if Iran gives the go-ahead?
أكيد صح. هلا يقولوا الإيراني يوقف بوقف.
Haj Mohammed detests Hezbollah because they usurped his own homegrown militia, Amal.
إيران بهمها مصلحتها بس ما فيش عندها ولا مصلحة تانية قبل مصلحتها. لا فارقة مع شيعة لبنان ولا فيها فرقة مع شيعة العراق.
فإنه بين أقرانه وأترابه وأحبائه وهو في مقام الصدق.
In Dahia, Hezbollah's Beirut stronghold, fighters' funerals are grand occasions. Members of the Party of God are prepared to die to defend their land and their faith. Here, death dominates life. They're saying farewell to Samir Eid Kabani, a veteran fighter and father of 9, cut down not by an Israeli missile, but in a gunfight between rival militias. The axis of resistance is ready for war. Iran's foot soldiers in Lebanon rallied the cause of their patron and bury the faithful departed under the watchful eyes of the grand Ayatollahs. Northern Israel, where tensions are rising along the border with Lebanon. Now, perhaps the world's most volatile frontier. The roads are empty. It's not hard to see why. Rocket strikes have torched these forested hillsides. Town after town abandoned. Residents fleeing waves of Hezbollah missiles. Kiryat Shimona has a haunted feel. A town of 23,000, virtually deserted. Across the north of Israel, 60,000 people have been evacuated. On the Lebanese side, 100,000 have been displaced.
I'm not sure I've been in a ghost town before, but it's pretty spooky around here at the moment. Over that hill is Lebanon, which for Israelis means not just Hezbollah, but Iran as well. And when you're this close and look up at a hill like that, you can understand why Israelis have that fear.
Since the Hamas rampage on October the 7th last year, Hezbollah has launched more than 1,800 cross-border drone, rocket and artillery attacks on Israel. Israel has struck more than 7,000 targets inside Lebanon. And that's before any regional wars even begun.
Before the war, I used to be on the borderline every day. On the farthest ridge, you can see a Lebanese town. And if you truly have sharp eyes, you can see some.
Lieutenant Colonel Saritza Harvey, a former Army intelligence officer, lives along the northern border, a little further west.
How does Hezbollah compare to Hamas as a military force?
It is 10 times more stronger with regard to the amount of missiles and rockets. The commando units of Hezbollah, those are the one who has the mission to invade into Israel.
We've spoken to some Israeli defense and intelligence people or experts who've said there's as many as 120,000 missiles in Lebanon pointed this direction.
Double amount. 240,000. When I look at the options, I'm very worried because one option is a full-scale war. We are not at a full-scale war now. It's a kind of a war of attrition now.
What's the solution to this?
No solution.
No solution.
We ended up in a situation today that it's a terrorist army working for Iran, and it is over here. And we don't have a solution that will prevent all these casualties.
Tel Aviv, a Mediterranean city of 4.5 million, did not expect this. It's 3 a.m. and an Iranian-made drone appears out of the darkness. It's come a very long way. The drone one person killed in the strike, just a block from the US consulate, and $500.
The idea that one of Iran's proxies could hit the very heart of Tel Aviv has shocked the country. If Israelis weren't in fear of the long arm of Iran before this attack, they certainly are now.
Nearby buildings are not badly damaged, but it sends a very clear message. Israelis are frightened now, but as hostilities grow, many around the world view Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories as the major source of instability.
To what extent does Israel's policy towards the Palestinians make it easier for Iran to recruit?
The Iranians don't give a damn about the Palestinians. It's just an excuse for them.
Israel's occupation of the ongoing conflicts.
The Palestinian issue of 120 hostages.
The Israeli-Palestinian of its proxies, whether it's conflict as justification for their action.
নদী করে টলমল ঢেউ নামে ঝড় তুফানে রে নাও বায়ো না মাঝি ভীষণ বইতাছে চলো চলো নদী করে টলমল ঢেউ ভাঙে ঝড় তুফানে রে নাও বায়ো না মাঝি ভীষণ বইতাছে ওরে গগনে গগনে হুঙ্কারিয়া ছোটে মে শোনো শোনো বায়ু দিকে গগনে গগনে হুঙ্কারিয়া ছুটে মে শোনো শোনো বায়ু দিকে মাঝি নিমেষে কুটায় পা মাঝি নিমেষে টাঙায় পাল সামলে রাখিও হাল ধীরে ধীরে দিও বাণী বৈঠাতে নাও বায়ো না মাঝি বিষম বইতাছে নাও বায়ো না মাঝি বিষম বইতাছে চলো কলো চলো চলো নদী করে টলমল ঢেউ ভাঙে ঝড় তুফানে রে না বায়ু না মাঝি ভীষণ বইতাছে There is strong anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh, for which both the Army League and Delhi are responsible. It is Delhi's imperialistic policies towards Bangladesh. Indian ministers calling Bangladeshi termites, insurgents, hang them with their head down. All this actually create anti-Indian sentiments and feelings. Delhi established personal ties with Hasina and totally ignored the people of Bangladesh. And India also deliberately shunned all other political parties in Bangladesh. Now all the responsibilities goes upon them as their strategy is going to imbalance and ruin at any time. And Hasina and her ministers also constantly repeated the narratives that India gave Bangladesh its independence. The sacrifice of Mukti Bahini was just. Minister Abdul Momen said that he had asked Delhi to keep Hasina in power, and elections candidate announced that he was India's nominee. Obaidul Qadir said once, the Army League would be in power with Delhi's help. There are many such interference from Army League leaders, and Hasina signed agreement with India without any debate in the parliament, and all these subservient behaviors of the Hasina governments compromise Bangladesh sovereignty. Naturally, anti-India sentiments kept growing. And now that Hasina is in India, what will Delhi do with her? Hasina has no valid travel documents, and approaches to give the country approach to give her sanctuary have regretted. And according to the bilateral agreements between India and Bangladesh, she could stay in India for 45 days, which ended on September 20, and Delhi is quite on Hasina's plight. What are the options for Delhi? Give her political asylum? In that case, Dhaka Delhi relations will be further strained, and many cites the examples of Dalai Lama. There is a significant difference. Dalai Lama is a spiritual leader, not accused of crime. Hasina committed criminal offenses and is liable to face trial. Hasina is a mass murderer, and Dalai Lama was a religious leader, and China arbitrarily forced Dalai Lama to leave Tibet. Then what will be Hasina's future? Grant Hasina Indian citizenships. After Mujib's assassination, Indira Gandhi gave Hasina refuge in Delhi. There are rumors that during that period, Hasina acquired Indian citizenships under a Hindu name. And during that time, the Indian intelligence also kept Hasina ready for her future assignment. Then treat her an illegal immigrant, send her back at Bangladesh for formal request. There are already loud calls from Bangladesh to bring her back to face trials for the crime she committed. If Hasina finds a place to hide, who will issue her travel document? Whenever maybe the legal dispensations, and Delhi has to choose either Hasina or Bangladesh. Hasina is an Hasina is an impediment in Dhaka Delhi relations. Whatever may be the legal dispensations, Delhi has to choose either Hasina or Bangladesh. Hasina is an impediment in Dhaka Delhi relations. Sitting in Delhi, Sheikh Hasina continues to foment travel in Bangladesh, instructing the Army League remnants to rise against the Indian government. And Yunus has asked India that Hasina should keep quiet as it was not helpful. Her son is also talking outrageously and has asked India to ensure quick elections in Bangladesh. Surprisingly, India is still in a state of denial. It cannot believe that Hasina has been overthrown and has become a fugitive. The hawkish sections of Indians wants to teach Bangladeshi lessons for being disobedient. And that section thinks that Modi needs to recognize the reality and recalibrate its policies towards Bangladesh. Hiding the head in sand and ignoring reality will certainly not help Delhi to improve relations with Dhaka. Bangladesh wants friendly relations with India. As Yunus has said, we need to work together to improve the relationships, which is now at a low. But that has to be on the basis of respect and fairness. The Second Republic of Bangladesh will not accept domineering India. Will Delhi change its prism and look positively at Bangladesh as a sovereign equal? বট বৃক্ষের ছায়া যেমন রে মোর বন্ধুর মায়া তেমন রে বট বৃক্ষের ছায়া যেমন রে মোর বন্ধুর মায়া তেমন